Hi, welcome to the beautiful Saturday. My name is Bide Nishomo, your financial planner. How you doing today? Let's see who will be our first guest today, our first student for today. But how was your week? How did your week go? Okay, let's see who's the king or queen. Who's the second person? Just say hi. Just say hi. Let me know that you're there. Oh, good afternoon. Laban, good afternoon. Welcome, Lou Ravel. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome, Laban. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing today? Beautiful, I must say. So, we've been talking about 25 financial fitness questions you are expected to ask yourself. That's what we've been talking about for about two weeks now. This is the third week, and this is the last week. Welcome, Temilola. Welcome, my able teacher, my lecturer. Welcome. I'm sure you must be a professor now. Ayinla Tajudeen. Thank you so much for joining me. So I've been talking about 25 financial fitness questions you should ask yourself when it comes to planning your money. So I was saying that you need to ask yourself, how much do you worth per hour? What constitutes your expenses on a daily basis, on a monthly basis? You need to also ask yourself, are you saving enough? Those are part of the questions you need to ask yourself. Are you saving? What portion of your income are you saving on a monthly basis? So that's some of the questions you should ask yourself. What kind of investments are you monitoring your investments? Those are kind of the questions. Welcome, Alaba Samson. Thank you so much for joining me. So those are part of the questions you should ask yourself, because you need to be in charge of your finances. You need to be in charge of your finances. That's one thing. You need to be in charge of your finances. So today I'm going to give you the remaining, because I started 2 days ago. So today I'm going to give you the last lap of the questions you should ask yourself. And number one question is, welcome, Gift Blessing Amos. Thank you so much for joining me. So number one question you should ask yourself is, are you sure you can afford whatever you find yourself in? Are you sure that you can afford whatever you find yourself in? So what I'm trying to say is, whatever project you find yourself in, whatever thing you've laid your hands on, are you sure you can afford it? Welcome, Pastor Biodun Lushala. I'm so honored. Thank you so much for joining me. So are you sure you can afford whatever you have laid your hands on? And these are the things I need you to ponder on. Number one, the house that you are living, is it costing you so much? Is it draining you so much? Because two things is, either you have an asset, or you have something, a liability, something drawing money away from you. An asset is something that brings money to your pocket. A liability is something that takes money away from your pocket. So my first question is, are you sure that the house that you are living, is it an asset or is it a liability? So that's left for you to decide. That's left for you to know if it's an asset or a liability. So can you afford that house that you're living? Or is it that you need to, in your house, do you need to make some part as rent so that people can pay, and that can serve as what you used to run the house? So, but you know what to do, but determine if your house is an asset or be it's a liability. Number two, do you need to buy the latest gadgets? That TV, how many TVs do you have in your house? 6, 10, 20? Are you sure it's something that you are using? You are using it at the maximum, or it's just there for fashion? What's wrong with your phone? What's wrong with your computer? Is it bad, or because a new one is in town, that's why you have to get it? So ask yourself the question, is it compulsory I get the latest gadget? Number 3, do you need to buy that new car? What's wrong with your car? Is it working very well? If your car is working very well, is it an asset or is it a liability? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself. So ask yourself, do you need to buy that new car? What's wrong with your car? Is it working so well? If it's working so well, let it be, and put your money on things, instruments that can multiply what you have. Number 4, the school your kids are going to, is this something you can afford, or you have been so drained? Your finances are so drained. Welcome, Mohammed Khalil. Thank you so much for joining me. So the school your kids are going to, is this something you can afford, or is it draining you so much? If it's draining you so much, if you can get something quite cheaper for them and yet has a better value, yes, go ahead. But ensure that the value that your kids, what they learn in school, is much more important than the price that you are paying for their school fees. It's not compulsory that all schools who pay so well does not necessarily mean that you are teaching those kids very well. So can you afford the school your kids are going to? Welcome, Abbat. Abbat, thank you so much for joining me. And number 2, another question you need to ask yourself. Welcome, Kosfini Udoka. You've been joining me lately. I appreciate you and celebrate you. So another question I need you to ask yourself is, have you been investing into things you don't know about? Whether stocks, whether property, whether financial instruments. Do you know about the investments you've put your money into? I seek to challenge you today. Whatever you are investing in, welcome Patrick Imafidon, I celebrate you. Whatever you are investing in, ensure that you are knowledgeable about it. Don't throw about money just because someone is telling you that investment is viable, that investment is worth it. Mount say, just because someone is telling you does not mean you should put the chunks of your resources into that investment. So have you been investing into what you don't know about? So I challenge you today, ensure you read about anything you want to put money in. Read about it. The internet is there. Ensure that, and ask people who know about these things before you commit your resources to it. Number 3, I also want to ask you, how wealthy do you want to be in the next 20 years? How wealthy do you want to be in the next 20 years? It could be 30 years, it could be 40 years. And why do you want to be wealthy? How wealthy do you want to be? And why do you want to be wealthy? And I also want to make something clear, that when it comes to wealth, wealth is not only money. Money is just a part of it. Your joy, your peace, your creativity, the knowledge you've acquired. You used to hear something like knowledge is wealth, knowledge is power. Your peace, all those things contribute to wealth. Not only money. Money is just a byproduct. It's just a byproduct of wealth. It's just part of it. So when I talk about wealth, I'm not only talking about money. I'm also talking about how peaceful do you want to be? How joyful? How do you want your family to look like? What level of creativity do you want to have attained in the next 20 years? Your level of faith. How well do you want to have grown? So you need to determine this and ask yourself, why do you want to be wealthy? Why do you want to have money? Why do you think that you need so much peace? Is it because of you alone, or because of everybody around you, or because of your environment, or because of your generation, or because of the generations to come? So why do you want to be wealthy in the next 20 years and 30 years, 40 years? You determine that. Welcome, Queen Ufoma Negoro. Thank you so much for joining me. Number 4, remember what I'm talking about is questions you need to ask yourself when it comes to financial planning. The questions you need to ask yourself. So I've mentioned that, are you sure you can afford whatever you've laid your hands on? Number 2, have you been investing in what you don't know about? Number 3, How wealthy do you want to be in the next 20, 30 years? And I said, wealth is not just money. Wealth also comprises of your health, your peace, joy, creativity, your knowledge. All is part of your wealth. Number 4, are you ready to contribute meaningfully to humanity? Are you ready to contribute meaningfully to humanity? So with your finances, do you want to have money so that just for you alone, just for selfish reasons, just for your family alone? Yeah, you need to take care of your family. But you will get to a stage in life and you will notice that money is just not about you alone. Whatever you have, it's not just about you alone. There's so many people to consider. There's so many families to consider. We need to consider our society. We need to consider our environment. We need to consider our countries. We need to consider our brothers. We need to consider our sisters. When I say brothers and sisters, does not necessarily mean biological. Everybody around you is someone that is your neighbor, is your brother, is your sister. So my question to you is, are you willing to contribute meaningfully to humanity with your finances? So the money you are having today, is it just for you alone? It's not necessarily about giving people money. No, I mean that the projects you create, the projects you start, it could be on your street just to feed people that are hungry. It could be on your street to clean the environment. It could be to train the young ones. It could be things that are of value and beneficial to your environment or your country. It not necessarily has to be giving money directly to people. So take note of that. Are you willing to contribute to humanity? And number 5, does money determine your happiness? Does money determine your happiness? If you don't have money, how do you feel? If you don't have money, how do you feel? If you don't have money, how do you feel? It's true that one needs to have abundance of money, so you don't worry about it. But one other thing is, even if you don't have enough money to do whatever you need to do, I already said that money is just a portion of wealth. So you have your joy, you have good health, you have peace, you are well and able. You can smile, you put smiles on people's face. Some people find it very difficult to smile. Some people find it very difficult to laugh. Some people find it very difficult to eat. Some people have so much money, yet they are very sick. So what do you call that? So you must note that money is just a byproduct of wealth. It's just a portion out of it. Does money determine your happiness?